Here's a quick video illustrating some of the key steps in the chromatography lab. Here's your equipment, solutions, micropipettes, and also bottles of dye, and the pieces of filter paper you'll need to set up. This will be your complete kit. You want to start off by measuring off 10 milliliters using a graduated cylinder of the sodium bicarbonate, sodium NaHCO3 solution. 10 milliliters, as you can see in the graduated cylinder. The next thing you want to do is get your filter paper ready, the paper that you're going to run the chromatogram on. You want to measure up from the bottom about 1.5 inches and draw a straight line all the way across. And this is the line where you're going to spot your dyes. And so here we'll show you drawing the line and making various marks on it. The marks are where you're going to spot your dyes. So the first thing is to go up 1.5 inches and then draw a line straight across as best you can. Like it's shown here with a pencil, of course. You must use a pencil because some of the dyes in a pen would actually run in the chromatogram and mess things up, so you want to make sure to use a pencil. And then at 1/2 inch intervals you want to mark off where you're going to put your dyes. And we don't show it here, but after you make your marks, you're going to want to write down, so they're starting 1/2 inch in and then 1 inch spaces across, 1 inch space across from each one. You're going to want to write down the name of the dye you're going to run. We don't show it here, but you're going to want to make sure to do that. And then what you do is you take your 10 milliliters of the mobile phase and you put it in that 400 ml beaker to get ready. And you want to cover it with a watch glass so it doesn't evaporate while you're waiting. The next thing you want to do is spot your dyes on. Make sure you use the ones that you've labeled and do them carefully. And you want to use those little microcapillary tubes to make little spots like that size. Sometimes you might want to spot more than once, but you want to have a dark spot but not a large spot, otherwise things will run smeary. The next thing you want to do is very carefully roll up the chromatogram paper, and you want to staple it into a circle, and this is fairly critical. You want them close to each other so they'll fit well in the beaker, and also so the staples will fit, but you don't want them to touch. And so if you can actually redo it if you like, you can pull the staples and try again, but you want to put 3 staples in and make it so that the paper doesn't touch, because if the paper does touch, the chromatogram will not run properly. So it should look something like that when you're done. Then you get your beaker ready, and you're going to put the chromatogram in that beaker and you're to dip into the solution and then cover it with the watch glass so it doesn't evaporate. And you can turn it upside down either way if you like. So now then you watch the chromatogram run, and you'll see the mobile phase moving slowly up as it drags some of the dyes with it. And as time passes, some spots will move and some won't, and you can watch the progress of the mobile phase as it goes. And eventually it reaches near the top. You don't want to let it go all the way to the top, because then again will confuse your measurements. When it gets near the top, you want to stop it by taking it out of the chromatography tank. And then you want to spread it out. And you want to mark the highest point that the solvent went, the solvent front, so you draw a line where that is. And you also want to mark where each of the dyes got to. And that can be a little challenging because, as you see, sometimes they're kind of smeary. And so you have to develop some standards in lab of what you consider to be where it's gone to. That light blue one is easy, and that blue one's easy. That one's a little trickier. You might pick up near the top or in the middle if you like. That one's pretty straightforward. The smearier ones can be trickier. You want to establish some convention so that all of the things can be the same. So then you got your things marked. That's what your final chromatogram will look something like. Now is probably a good time to take a picture of it, because sometimes the dyes fade.